welcome to my 29-week pregnancy update. Theo is now the size of a pineapple, which just seems so much bigger than a coconut, which was the size that he was last week, so that kind of seems weird to me. But yeah, he's big, he's getting bigger, definitely. Let's just go into symptoms. Actually, like I say every week, it's pretty much the same as it has been, but something that actually has gotten better, which I was not anticipating, is, let's see if I can pronounce this, pelvic girdle pain. I know I've talked about it in one video before, and then I kind of forgot the name in English and I haven't mentioned it since, but also it's kind of gone away. I still feel it the way I did before, but it hasn't gotten worse, and I was so anticipating that because that's what happened when I was pregnant with Tyrion. And so I'm very pleasantly surprised and relieved that at least so far, knock on wood, I'm not having very much trouble with it. I do feel it sometimes when I have moved a lot during the day, but it's definitely manageable, so that's nice. Other than that, everything is pretty much the same for symptoms. And for weight, in some weird way, I have not gained a lot at all. A few weeks ago I was concerned because I was gaining like a kilo a week, which is about 2 pounds, and I gained very rapidly for a few weeks, and now it seems to have kind of just settled down. And I weighed myself this morning, and the last time I weighed myself was 2 weeks ago, and I've only gained 0.3 kilos, which is less than a pound. So that's in 2 weeks I've gained less than a pound. I think that's good because I'm starting to get close to kind of where the midwives and stuff think you should be for the entire pregnancy, and I have 10 more weeks to go, so I'm glad that I'm not gaining as rapidly as I did. So I've gained about 9-ish kilos in total, and I've heard the latest numbers that I've heard that they recommend is between 10 and 12 kilos, so I'm definitely close, but doing okay so far, so I'm happy about that. As for baby and pregnancy buys, I know I mentioned this in an earlier video this week or last week, that I had ordered lots of stuff and I was going to show it in the pregnancy update. Unfortunately, most of it hasn't arrived yet. So I have one thing that I've bought for myself, and that is a nursing bra. This is the same brand and the same type, I guess, as the one I raved about a few weeks ago. It's the Carry Well padded bra, I think. I think that's what it's called, and I just think it's awesome. I bought it in white, and then they didn't have it in my size in black, and I was so bummed, and now I found it on Black Friday for like 25% off or something on another page or another like online store, and they actually had it in stock in my size. So now I finally have 2 bras that I can actually wear, which is a relief. So yeah, I think that's it for buys this week, but probably hopefully by next week I'll have more to show you. And now I want to go into something that I've kind of mentioned before, but I haven't talked about it too much, and that's because I was waiting for the time when I would be talking to a midwife and a psychiatrist about it, and now I have. Actually, in the past week I've been to 2 appointments about pregnancy, or not pregnancy, about delivery fear. I don't know if that's like the official name of it in English, but that's what we call it in Swedish, and they have specific clinics for women who have this fear. And so I was referred there, and first I met with a midwife who works only with this kind of stuff. Usually you see her first, and if she thinks that you need like further talking help, I guess, she refers you to the psychiatrist, which is what she did, or a psychologist, or I don't know, whatever, someone to talk to. So I first talked to the midwife, and she was actually the same person that I talked to the last time when I was pregnant with Tyrion, because I had a lot of anxiety and fear that time as well. So I got to go back to her, and we kind of talked about what the issues were last time and what the issues are now, and of course about the delivery that I have actually gone through since then. And I thought it was a very good talk, and surprisingly she is not gonna make me go through a bunch of hoops, I guess you could say, to get a C-section, and I'm gonna go into this in a second. So yeah, why C-section? Because last time she said that you will have to go to see the psychiatrist for a few times, and if you can't kind of get through the fears and settle things, then we will think of giving you a C-section, because at least in Sweden they don't let you do C-sections very easily. You have to have a medical reason, or a very like strong and specific psychological reason or mental reason. So that's what I did last time. I did go several times to the psychiatrist, and then when I had, and we kind of felt like we weren't really gonna get through it, it got better, but I was still very scared. Then we booked an appointment back to the midwife so that we could write kind of a birth plan, and she could get consent from a doctor that I would get a C-section. The thing is, the day that I was gonna meet her and write this plan and everything, Tyrion decided to show up. So we kind of joke about that sometimes, that he realized that something was up and he needed to hurry if he was gonna get out the like traditional way, I guess you could say. So that's what happened last time. But like I said, this time she actually said at the end of our talk last week, she said that, oh, I will see you again in a few weeks. So we booked an appointment, and we will write the birth plan, and we will write in your birth plan that you are, like, I'm not sure how to say it in English, but that you are allowed to do a C-section, because you can't just get to the hospital and say, oh, I want a C-section. Like I said, you need a very strong reason. But when they write it into your like chart and stuff beforehand, you don't have to fight any doctors or anything once you're there. So what we did this time though is that she said, because I really do want to have a vaginal birth again. I did want that last time too. I was just very scared of, mostly of the pain. So that's why I wanted a C-section. And yeah, I know that there's lots of pain and like recovery and stuff involved in C-sections, but I was afraid of like the delivery pain. So this time she said that obviously you can go through it, and I did mention to her that it felt like a relief that I could do a C-section if I wanted to, because that's what the nurses told me when I got to the hospital when Tyrion was about to come out of my body, and that was a relief for me, because that way I knew that I had kind of an out if I really needed it, and that kind of helped me to actually go through the vaginal birth, which I was super scared of. So she said the other day that we will write a plan, and we will write in your plan that you are allowed a C-section, or you're allowed to stop natural birth that has started on its own to do a C-section. And that's pretty much exactly what I wanted. I couldn't have asked for anything better. So I'm so relieved because like I said, I don't want a C-section, but I think that I will have an easier time managing the fear if I know that I have that as an option. And I'm not sure if that makes sense to everyone, but that's how I feel. But she also, like I said, referred me to the psychologist, because obviously it doesn't hurt to talk about it and kind of go through your fears and maybe get somewhere so that it gets easier. So I saw her today, and that was actually, again, the same person that I saw a few years ago. So I've met the same midwife and the same psychiatrist, psychologist, whatever, and they're both called Lena. They have the same first name, which is confusing in itself. But yeah, I saw her today, and again, talked about the delivery that I've gone through and how my fears have changed and what's the same. And I got a bit of a, she called it an experiment, but I see it as kind of homework to do when I start like thinking about the fear and the delivery, and when I start to kind of try to fix it in my head or try to solve it, which I can't obviously, because I can't know what's going to happen, then I'm going to try to redirect my thoughts to something in the now. We talked a lot about kind of in your head being in the future. Sorry, I keep hitting the table and the camera moves. About being in the future in my head versus being in the now. and being in the present, and that's something that I need to work on in general, I think, in my life. So it's going to be interesting to see how I handle it, and if I can kind of redirect my thoughts to something that's going on right now and that's here now. So that's what I'm going to work on. So I'm going to try to remember to update you on that in each pregnancy update as well. And I think that's all I had to say about the appointment. I'm going to show you the belly. Here is the belly from the front, and here's from the side, and the other side. Yeah, that's the belly. Please like this video if you liked it, and subscribe if you want to see more of our daily vlogs, and we will see you tomorrow. Hej då!